In the heart of Igbo land, nestled between green forests and wide rivers, lies the village of Obodo. Known for its fertility and bountiful harvest, Obodo was a peaceful village where the bond between its people was more potent than any force that could threaten them. The people of Obodo lived joyfully, tending to their farms and caring for their families. Among them, one name was spoken of with the utmost reverence: Chinonso. Chinonso was a young man of extraordinary integrity, kindness and hard work. He was known throughout the village for his honesty and humility. No one could recall a time when Chinonso had wronged anyone, and his generosity knew no bounds. He would often lend a hand to those in need, whether it was helping older people gather firewood or assisting his peers with their harvest. Chinonso's heart was as pure as a pure gold, and his life reflected this. But as in every good story, there were forces in the world that could not hear to see such purity go unchallenged. In the same village of Obodo, there was a man named Okafor. Okafor was a wealthy farmer, but unlike Chinonso, he was known for his arrogance, greed and deceit. Okafor built his wealth through manipulation and cunning. His life goal was to become the most powerful and respected man in the village. Okafor's jealousy towards Chinonso began to grow when he noticed that despite Chinonso's modest life, he was admired and respected by everyone in the village. As Chinonso's performance improved, he gained increasing admiration from his people, which in turn intensified Okafor's resentment for him. He began to plot against Chinonso, convinced that the only way to maintain his position was to bring him down. Okafor called together his closest ally, his wife Adako, and a few other ambitious men in the village. He planned to ruin Chinonso's reputation, to turn the villagers against him. He knew that with the right lies and deceit, he could destroy the innocent man who had never once wronged him. He spoke quietly, making sure that no one else could hear his words. "The time has come for Chinonso to be shown for what he truly is," Okafor said, his eyes cold with malice. "I will spread rumors that he had been practicing witchcraft in the forest. I will tell the village that he has made pacts with evil spirits to gain his blessings. No one will suspect a thing. They will turn against him, and his reputation will be ruined forever." Adak, though a woman of some sense, had grown tired of seeing Chinonso's popularity and the attention he received from others. She had always been envious of his simplicity and his ability to win hearts, even without the wealth Okafor had. She agreed to the plan, and the plot was set in motion. For days, Okafor and his cohorts spread the rumor that Chinonso was a witch. They whispered that he was seen in the dark of night, walking deep into the forest where he had communed with spirits. They told stories of strange occurrences, crops falling in places where Chinonso has passed, sickness befalling those who cross his path. The rumors spread like wildfire, and soon the once innocent and good-natured Chinonso was being eyed with suspicion. People began to avoid him, and those who once sought his counsel now kept their distance. Chinonso, unaware of the malicious campaign against him, continued his work. He kept farming, helping the elders, and caring for his family, but his once joyful interaction with the villagers began to change. They no longer greeted him warmly. Their smiles had turned into wary glances. The people who had once trusted him now whispered behind his back. One day, an elder man from the village, who had known Chinonso since he was a child, came to him with a heavy heart. "Chinonso," the elder man began, his voice thick with sorrow. "We have heard rumors that you have been involved in witchcraft, that you have made pact with evil spirits in the forest." Chinonso was stunned. "Elder, I swear to you, these are lies. I have never been involved in such things. I walk in the light of God Almighty. I seek only to help my people." The elder's face softened, but the skepticism in his eyes remained. "I know you, Chinonso. You are a good man. But when such rumors spread, they are hard to stop. But be careful. The villagers are turning against you." Chinonso's heart ached. He has never done anything to deserve such treatment. Yet, despite the pain, he remained calm. He prayed to God Almighty for guidance, asking for the strength to endure the injustice being done to him. He knew that if he responded with anger or tried to retaliate, it would only make matters worse. Days turned into weeks, and the village became increasingly divided. Chinonso has lost many friends, and his reputation was tarnished. Yet, through it all, he did not waver. He continued to work, to help and to pray. But as Okafor's plan progressed, something began to shift. The more Okafor tried to ruin Chinonso's life, the more he found his own life unraveling. The first sign came when his crops began to fail. No matter what he tried, his once thriving farm became barren. His workers grew discontent as if a dark cloud had settled over his lands. His wealth began to dwindle, and his reputation, once feared, suffered a similar decline. The villagers who once had looked up to him as a wealthy man began to question his character. One evening, after a particularly devastating day, in which he had lost yet another deal to a neighboring village, Okafor stood in front of his home, gazing at the darkening sky. His wife Adako came to him with concern in her eyes. "Okafor, what is happening to us? Ever since we began this plot against Chinonso, things have gone wrong. The farm is failing, our workers are leaving, our fortunes are dwindling." Okafor's eyes widened as he realized the truth. His malicious actions had started a chain of events he could not control. He had set out to destroy Chinonso, but in the process he had killed himself. His greed, envy, and hatred had led him to his downfall. Meanwhile, Chinonso, who had endured the rumors and isolation with grace, was finally vindicated. The truth came to the light when a group of elders ventured into the forest, seeking answers for themselves. They discovered that the strange occurrences had nothing to do with Chinonso but with a rare pestilence that had spread through the village, affecting crops beyond his path. They also learned that the only man who stood to gain from these rumors was Okafor, whose land had been untouched by the pestilence, while Chinonso's fields had been harmed by the same forces that affected the rest of the village. The villagers were shocked when the truth came out. The lies spread by Okafor were exposed, and he was forced to stand before the community, humiliated. He tried to explain himself, but his reputation was irreparably damaged. People no longer feared him, they pitied him. The villagers turned their backs on him, and Okafor was left to face the consequences of his actions alone. As for Chinonso, the people who had once shunned him now came forward, offering apologies and asking for his forgiveness. His name was cleared, and his character was restored. In time, his fortunes grew, and his family's farm flourished once again. The villagers who had once doubted him came to realize that the good in Chinonso had been protected by a higher power all along. His purity and integrity had seen him through the storm. The story of Okafor and Chinonso became a cautionary tale in Obodo, one that has been passed down through generations. It was a story of how malice and envy could lead to destruction, while goodness and integrity will always stand tall, unshaken by life's storms. Okafor, in his attempt to harm the innocent, had only harmed himself. Meanwhile, Chinonso walked through life unscathed, his faith in God Almighty and his goodness serving as his shield. The villagers learned that no matter how dark the world may seem, no harm done to an innocent soul can last forever. In the end, those who plot against the good will find that the harm they sought to cause others will be their undoing, while the innocent will walk safe and tall, upheld by the strength of their character and the protection of a higher power. The moral of the story: the harm you plot against others will one day return to you, just as Okafor's lies ruined his own life. Malice and envy will always lead to self-destruction. No matter how fierce the storm, integrity cannot be broken. Chinonso's honesty and kindness endured, proving that true character withstands all trials.